Welcome to Golden Software's video training for Surfer 12. Surfer is a versatile gridding, contouring, and surface mapping software package. In this demonstration, I'll be working with base maps. Base maps are very important for displaying information such as roads, well locations, section and township lines, aerial photographs, etc. You can create a base map from any number of file formats such as DXF, shape, georeferenced image files, and BLN files. The file will import in real-world map coordinates according to the file, so you can overlay it with other map layers. To import a file as a base map, click Map, New, Base Map. Select the NV2000 GSB file and click Open. A map object is created with one base layer in the Object Manager. I can click the plus button to the left of the base layer to expand the group. You can see all the individual components of the file. In this example, the base layer contains the counties of Nevada as polygons. There are many options to choose from to customize the base layer and the objects within the base layer. I'll start with walking through the properties of the base layer itself, and then I'll go into editing the properties for the individual items within the base layer. First, select the base layer in the Object Manager. In the Property Manager, the General page has many general options. On the input file line, you have the option to replace or save the base map file for the map. You are also presented with properties that will apply to all objects within the layer. Since my layer only has polygons in it, I only have line and fill property options. If I had text, I'd also be presented with font properties, and if I had any marker symbols, then I'd also have symbol properties. These properties will apply to all objects in the base layer. For example, click on the plus next to Line Properties, click on the color, and change the color to orange, and increase the width value to 0.02 inches. As I do that, you can see that the properties for all polygons are updated. On the Labels page, Surfer allows you to label the objects in the base layer with an attribute. The GSB file I chose to import had attributes associated with each polygon object. Other file formats, such as MIF and Shape, can support attributes for objects within the files. To label the objects with the attributes, click the Label Source drop-down. You can choose any of the attributes to use as labels, or you can create a template which can display multiple attributes or additional text. I'll choose Secondary, and we can see the county names appear. You can choose the position of the labels, the angle they're displayed at, and the font properties. I'll change the font size to 8 points, and the foreground color to blue. The Layer page is where you can control the opacity of the entire base map layer. You can adjust the percentage using the slide bar, or you can click on the percentage number and change it manually. I will leave it set at 100%. The Coordinate System page displays the coordinate system of the file used to create the map. If there is not a coordinate system assigned to the base map file, but there should be, you can click the Set button, find and select the appropriate coordinate system for the base map in any of these categories, and click OK. The Info page contains information about the selected object. For items within base layers, this information could be measured length and area, or attribute information. For the base layers themselves, there usually isn't any additional information. Now that we've covered the base layer properties, let's look into editing the item within the base layer itself. In this case, this would be individual polygons in the base layer. Editing individual items in a base layer is easy to do in Surfer. We just went over changing the properties for all items at once in the base layer properties, but you can also change the properties of each individual item in a base map by selecting the item in the plot window or in the Object Manager. I'll click on this polygon, and in the Property Manager, make the desired changes to the polygon properties. On the Fill page, I'll choose a fill pattern and change the foreground color to purple. The polygon is now filled with my selected properties. You can also delete items from a base layer simply by selecting them in the plot window and pressing the delete key on the keyboard. This filled polygon is already selected, as indicated by the small cyan selection circles around it. I'll press delete on the keyboard and the polygon is deleted. You can also reshape polylines and polygons in a base map. This is useful if the objects in the base map file were not originally drawn correctly, or if they need to be slightly adjusted. In this case, I probably wouldn't want to actually reshape the counties of Nevada, but I will do so to demonstrate how to reshape objects. I'll zoom in a bit closer to the map using the mouse scroll wheel. Select the object you want to reshape and click Geoprocessing, Reshape. When you enter into reshape mode, all of the vertices that make up the polyline or polygon are visible as small white squares. This way, you can select any vertex and move it to a new location. You can hold the Control key down and your cursor turns to a plus. With the Control key held down, click to add a vertex, or click on a vertex and press the Delete key to delete it. If you want to reshape another object, simply click on that object and reshape it. Press the Escape key on the keyboard to exit reshape mode. I'll click View, Fit to Window so we can see the entire map again. More advanced editing, such as adding items, selecting multiple items, combining polygons, or smoothing lines, requires you to enter the base layer group first. Entering the base layer group allows you to perform more functions on the individual components of the base map. To enter the group, right-click over the base layer in the Object Manager and click Enter Group. You can add additional items to the base layer, such as text labels, lines, or polygons. To add more items to the base layer, simply use the commands under the Draw menu. I'll click Draw, Text. Click in the plot window, type in my new text, and click OK. This text is now part of the base map. You can see the text in the plot window, and the text object is included in the Object Manager as part of the base layer. I'll press Escape on the keyboard to exit draw mode. You can also select multiple items at once to change their properties. This is useful if you want to change the properties of multiple items, but not all of the items in the base map, and changing them individually would be too tedious. Click on the first item you want to select, hold the Shift key, and click on the other items you wish to select. When you select multiple items, the bounding box in the plot window expands as each item is added to the selection. Once the polygons are selected, make the edits you want in the Property Manager. I'll click on the Line tab and change the color from orange to forest green. You can see that the 3 polygons I selected now have a darker green line color. You can also use many of the options under the Geoprocessing menu. To combine these 3 individual polygons into one complex polygon, I'll click Geoprocessing, Combined Islands Lakes. Now it is just one polygon. If I change the fill pattern now in the Property Manager to a crosshatch with a background opacity of 0%, all 3 initial polygons are filled together and can be turned off by unchecking and rechecking the polygons checkbox in the Object Manager. If some objects are overlapping or not placed correctly, you can simply select an object, such as the text label I created, and drag it to its new location. When you are done with your changes, exit the base layer group by right-clicking over Base in the Object Manager and clicking Exit Group. You can also view and edit additional information for the individual objects. Click on an object in the base layer, for example, I'll click on the Elko County polygon, and then click the Info tab in the Property Manager. The Geometry section at the top shows information about the object selected, such as the number of vertices and the perimeter length and area for the polygon. Change the coordinate system from page to map, and the perimeter length and area for this polygon is displayed in map units. In this case, the map units are in degrees of latitude and longitude, which aren't very useful for measuring lengths and areas. To change the map units to other units, such as meters, select Map in the Object Manager, click the Coordinate System tab in the Property Manager, click the Change button. Select another coordinate system with a linear unit. In this case, I'll select Predefined, Projected Systems, UTM, North America NAD 27, UTM Zone 11N, which is in meters, as shown by the scale, and click OK. The map is converted to UTM meters. Now I'll reselect the Elko polygon and click the Info tab in the Property Manager. The perimeter length is now reported in meters, and the area is reported in square meters. Under the Attributes section are the attributes that were imported when the boundary file was loaded. To add, remove, or edit the attributes, click the Edit button to open the Attribute Editor. You can edit the attribute name or edit the value. I'll add county to this value here. You can also add a new attribute, delete an attribute, or rearrange the order of the attributes. I'll click OK, and I can see that the secondary ID was updated in the Property Manager and that the label was updated on the map. This concludes the video training for working with base maps in Surfer 12. If you have any additional questions, please contact Golden Software.